Hey, you guys, Cindy here with Create Your Own Luck and Love. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. And I wanted to connect in around the things men wish you knew about them. Let me know, what are things here's what I'd love to hear from you. Is there anything that you would like to know about them? So what is the thing that, irritates you about men, or, always makes you feel a little, I don't want to say self-conscious, or, just it makes you feel like you question what's really going on with them. So if there's things you'd like to know about men, go ahead and post your questions below, because I'm here for you. I'm here to answer each and every one of them. I'm here to connect with you guys, and I hope you're enjoying this series. So send me some hearts if you like it. So I'm going to give you a couple of things that, men really wish that you knew about them. So the thing about men is that they wish that you knew that even if they're not connecting with you as much as you might like, that they are on their mission in this world. And I don't mean that they don't connect with you. It's just, maybe they're working on a project, or they're on business travel, or they're at a conference. So, know that, men, they have you on their heart, especially if you're in a relationship with them, even if you don't. What mission? Oh, that's a good question. So their mission in the moment. It could be, maybe they're really feverishly working on a business project. Maybe they're, supporting their kids around something. They're focused. Men are what we call single focused. And hey guys, hey Terry, hey Pam, hey everyone. So what happens when, if he's focused on his mission, Maria, he's not really thinking about anything else. You might be in his heart, but as women, we have the ability to multitask. We have the ability to, I say this all the time, talk on the phone, hold on to the baby, cook a meal. Like, we just have that ability. We're much better at it. And women, as we age, we become a little bit, we gain more testosterone in our body. So we become a little more single focused in our missions. So if you are a successful woman, you're in a career, and when you are on your mission, whatever you're working on, then you're pretty focused on that. So for women, it's much easier for us to, if he calls, to draw ourselves out of that and then refocus. Not always, though. So, that goes into discipline and things like that. So men wish you understood the fact that they really do care, and they are focusing on something greater. And usually that something greater has something to do with protecting and providing for you, or your family, or the partnership, because men are driven to want to provide. Even if you guys are equal in partnership, he's still driven to provide. So he's going to, depending on what what stage he is in his life, he's going to be very driven to do that. Men are also, they'd like you to know that they're sensitive too. And they actually feel things very deeply. So, communication is, hey, Helene, communication is one of the most helpful things that you can do to create clarity and create a deeper connection with a man. So, you may be deciding, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, men are really sensitive to emasculation, and you could almost see it. And you might be going, what's emasculation? Well, emasculation is just tearing down a little bit of his manhood, letting him know, in some ways that you've got this, he doesn't have room. You don't have room in your life for him. And not that you don't, but you're letting him know that what he's bringing doesn't matter. And we all emasculate at times. We just do. It's natural. It happens, and it can be a mistake, but you can actually usually tell if a man feels emasculated. You can see it on his face. And men feel feelings deeper, but not as often as us. So, it's kind of like if you watch the World Series and you see all these men crying and hugging each other, they feel things for their ball teams really deeply. If that's what, they're connected to, maybe there's a history there, right? The same thing comes for you. I remember, I'm going to share a quick story with you. I remember my dad, when I was growing up, my dad did not share as much. My mom was the one that talked a lot and kind of ran the house. But my father really had a silent strength about him. And, I could see at times when, I remember when my dad felt really hurt by my mom, he would go out to the garage and he would, put his arm up and lean his head against it. And, I would sometimes see tears. And I rarely saw tears from my dad. Well, sometimes I did, but it was just not something that I saw all the time. And I used to think, I wonder what happened to make him feel this way, right? So, they do feel deeply. So how do we seek to, and every man's different too, just as a, heads up, every man's different because, they're kind of like ice cream, right? There's different flavors, different textures. Everybody has different wants, needs, and desires. And, if your partner or the person that you're dating, getting closer to, if you know their love language, then you can have an easier time to create a connection with them. And, I hear this a lot from women in, they want a relationship, and then there's things that have gone on in their lives. There's a broken record pattern. And there's this thought process of, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Maybe I'm not young enough. I mean, I have women email me all the time that share certain things with me that break my heart. And what I can tell you, I know this stems from childhood, but I want to go even deeper with this, you guys. The thing is that if you're committed to staying in that mindset, there are no great guys in my town, all none of the men want commit, whatever it is. If they really get to know me, they're not gonna love me. Whatever. But what happens is, of course, I'm gonna say, we create that reality. And once you get committed to freedom and doing something different and getting support around this area of your life and really deeply understanding men wish that you would look at them as a partner. Men wish that you would look at them as a person and not the enemy. How many times have you looked at a man and thought, okay, what does he want from me? Or do I need to do all the work in order for him to really show up? Which is not true. So the right kind of man, so that's where you start, is the right kind of man, assessing that. So let's just say you're with the right kind of guy and you still don't understand him. He does things, he likes some alone time. We call it cave dwelling. They like to just do their thing, tinker around in their cave. That's why there's sheds and garages. They need to have that time. And this is pretty universal for men. Or they go and have a night out with a guy buddy or whatever. And that should be the same for you. So, sometimes we can get involved in relationship and put all of our focus and energy there and not actually open ourselves up to more connections in life and, filling that cup. So they wish that you would give them space when they pull back a little bit. And then they'll come back even closer. They wish that you would trust them, that they're doing the right thing. And they also want to be called forward if there's something that happens that doesn't feel consistent. So, and I see this a lot. I see where women will go where, let's just say you're dating someone, he shows up really well for you, and one day he had to cancel and blah, blah, blah. And so what can happen is if you're in too rigid of a way of thinking and a way of being, what'll happen? You'll start to go into, well, did he change his mind? Does he not want to be with me? Am I not enough? Blah, blah, blah. So that's the rockets that run in our head, right? And this is one time. Give him space and trust that, my gosh, she's going to come back and say, gosh, I'm so sorry it didn't work out. Things happen. If you have responsibilities in life and you're looking for a high value man, which I know you are, if you're single, and you're a high value woman, you've got other things going on in your life. So you want to give grace to that and, flow and understand. It's another thing. So the pendulum can go swing the other way. It's another thing if the guy doesn't, if the guy starts doing that a lot and he starts becoming hot and cold and there's some inconsistencies happening and you start to feel that, then you have a conversation. And I believe in having conversations anyway, because difficult conversations are 2-minute conversations. Hey, I'm so happy to see you. God, I'm so bummed. I'm really disappointed we didn't get together the other night. And I'm really happy that we're, what happened? And I'm really happy we're together now. So what that does is it opens the door for love and connection. And if somebody approached you like that, if you had to cancel, you had something come up, or you had a work meeting that ended up going late, or things like that, if that's consistent in your life, then that has something to do with boundaries. And if you see that around a guy that you're with, then you get to have that conversation. So, men would like to be treated as not big, hairy women. They really don't want to be talked to like you talk to your girlfriend. They want to feel respected, and they do want to feel appreciated with you. And they love to have discussions and conversations, and they love to have the space to help you. Emasculation looks like solving their problems. You should do this. You should try this. I can't believe you didn't do that. But it comes from being supportive, loving. You want to be authentic. You want to have conversations about things that light your fire. You're passionate about politics. You think this person's a bozo. You can't believe this happened. Whatever. Cool. Do it. That creates some fun and fire. And remember, if you disagree, come from a place of love for that person and respect that he has his views, you have your views. And you guys get to come together, and it doesn't need to be perfect, right? Know your values. Men wish that you knew that they want a loving relationship just as badly as you. So you might be going, okay, Cindy, I've heard that before, but that's not what I'm experiencing right now. Okay. So men will also, they get a little more excited, typically, not always, than we do. Depends on where they are at in life. And I can go over that at some other point in time, but for timing purposes, I really want to cover this is, they will try to push things forward, maybe in the physical sense, or, even relationally before it's time. So you, as the woman, you are actually the pacemaker. So you get to slow him down. You're not 100% available all the time. You're not with him every night of the week. You are building that relationship. You're continuing to get to know him, and you're not blinded by the chemistry. You're really taking that time. Is he the kind of person that I really see myself with? Does he share my values, my most important values? And they want boundaries. They want you to set boundaries, because it's almost unspoken, but they feel like when you set a boundary, it's just an understood that it's unspoken that you're high value, that you value yourself. And they like women that value themselves. Why might have you dated one guy and then, you guys don't work out, and then the next thing you know, he gets involved with someone else and gets married? Well, it might not have been the right guy for you. I'm going to go with that. And if you dig really deep, he probably wasn't. There may have been a guy that got away, but, really looking at what did I take away from this in a positive way, and trusting, having that feeling in your life that I trust that no matter what, I have this desire in my heart and I'm going to get there. And this can be really hard to do on our own. I'm going to share a quick story with you, and then I'll let you guys go. I have this woman that I work with, and she's amazing. And, she's, she's really great at getting in relationships, and she's also, and she's really shifted a lot of her patterns. We've been working together for a while now. And she's in a relationship, and her desire, her deep desire, is to get married. Okay? And she's so wrapped, what I've experienced with her, she gets wrapped up in that desire, and it can be hard for her to look at things objectively and not from a whole perspective of what's really happening in the relationship in a good way, and having peace and patience and trusting in the process that's unfolding. So she had her boyfriend's brother is getting married, and they're in a long distance relationship, and she wasn't invited to the wedding. And she was really bummed out about it and expressed the fact that, I'm kind of mad at your brother for not, insisting that I come to the wedding. But then there's a story that comes up. I guess I'm not really part of your family, So what was happening, and what he kept saying to her, which I thought was beautiful, he said, yeah, I get it. They're young, they're in love. I doubt she's really thinking too deeply about it, and just know that you're my number one priority. You always are. And she would say, oh, thank you, and go back into the story of how she wasn't invited, right? Because she wants to be a part of it, and we all do. And then, he went back to, I understand, and you're my priority. It's all good. I may not even be able to go. So, and she was so caught up in her head. How many of you guys have gotten caught up in your head and not really thinking of the big picture that's going on? So, at any rate, I hope this helps you. So, compassion, really being curious, and seeking to understand will support you around them. They need space. So anyways, saved by the bell, guys. Sending you so much love. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.